You might want to grab some tinfoil and make a hat out of it after watching this video, because in my hand I have a government white paper titled From PSYOP to Mind War, put out by Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino in the United States Army, where he outlined plans and recommended that the government beam down from satellites magnetic radiation or electromagnetic waves to either excite or sedate a population in conjunction with the government's propaganda. And to make it worse, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino, author of this paper, is also an infamous Satanist who has been accused of molesting children as part of satanic rituals back in the 1980s. In this paper, which is authentic, he explains, quote, "The theory behind brainwashing was that physical torture deprivation would weaken the mind's resistance to suggestion, and this was true to a point." But he goes on to say, "There are purely natural conditions under which minds may become more or less receptive to ideas, and mind war should take full advantage of such phenomena as atmospheric electromagnetic activity, air ionization, and extremely low frequency waves." And he cites a study here where it says infrasound could be used tactically as ELF waves endure over great distances, and could be used in conjunction with media broadcasts as well. Of course, you've heard of the attack wearing conspiracy theorists wear a tinfoil hat or should be wearing a tinfoil hat. And of course, the idea comes from some people think that the government are either beaming things into their brain or trying to read their mind. But here we have an authentic government white paper authored by a lieutenant colonel who's an infamous Satan worshiper, okay, where he outlines exactly those scenarios. So there are instruments out there that can detect these kinds of waves, and I recommend that people actually get them and maybe put them to use. Because I must just be paranoid. I must be a crazy conspiracy theorist for thinking that the United States government or foreign governments would actually put plans on paper and recommend using electromagnetic beams from satellites or even handheld units, or in conjunction with cell towers, who knows what they're doing, to sedate the population or to excite them. Because I believe with certain RF detectors or certain kinds of equipment, if the government was to use some kind of device like this, it could most likely be detected. And how crazy is it, how sad is it that in the resistance that some people should probably look into these weapons, these weapon detectors, to see if in fact our government ever uses this kind of weapon against its own people. I'm pretty sure that this is against international law, certainly against the Constitution. But think about that. If they wanted to amp up the fear, not only do they do it on the television broadcast, the propaganda machines through Operation Mockingbird, but right here in PSYOP to Mind War, he clearly states that this technology could be used to excite the population. So think about that. If they wanted to amp up the anxiety for an entire city, or perhaps even the entire country, let's say to get everybody scared about a certain news event on a certain day, it looks like, according to this white paper published 30 years ago, that they have the ability through the satellites or through other means to essentially radiate us to excite people, to cause people to get anxious. Or if they want to calm people down, the From PSYOP to Mind War documents clearly state that they could be used to sedate people. So if people are starting to get a little bit too out of control, a little bit too much social unrest, people mad at the criminal Bilderberg banksters, the Council on Foreign Relations con artists, mad at the Illuminati puppet masters, it looks like the government could do something to calm everybody down. Oh, don't worry about it. You're just feeling very sleepy. Don't go out into the streets. Don't go out and protest. You're feeling very sleepy. Just stay home. Just watch more television. So, don't call me paranoid when the evidence for such technology and such plans is literally in my hand. I'm Mark Dice. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, check out some of the previous videos, and there's more on the way.